here. Stream starting. Okay, stream health starting. Going live. All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the One Drop Shower Ministry of Preparedness. My name is Mike Albert, bringing you what I would classify as an emergency broadcast because of the alarming facts behind what is happening behind this website. I'm going to go right into it. This website here, I'll make that screen larger and tune you guys into what they're saying here. Let me just make sure you could see me on a larger scale here. Let's adjust that screen. Preview live. What happened? Where did it go? Oh, come on. Let's go. Where'd it go? What happened to it? Alright, let's hide the chat. Maybe that'll help out. No? It was just up top there. Where did it go? Why all of a sudden up? I hit the air conditioning off. It's 100 degrees outside. Alright, 30 seconds. Technical difficulties. This live Streamlabs board here I want 4 I just had it. Editor. Maybe on editor? Yeah, there it is. Okay. Alright, let's make this large. You guys don't need to see me. That works. Live. Okay, good. Alright, so going live on YouTube. Today is August 9th, 2018. This came from this website here. The guy called the HISRO map. I've been studying this probably about 3 years now. Monitoring current events and what's going on around the world. And never before, I've seen strange things like, what do they call it, space events, unknown events, nationwide events. I've never before seen a global event, a global alert event, which is this right here. You can see this little icon down here, just south of the African West Southern Horn there. The country that this website originates is in Hungary. So it is titled, at least in English. Good, okay, global event. Seven tropical storms going off all at once. Yesterday, 6 today. Unheard of. So right here, under current emergencies, 10 hours ago, climate change, other, global event, level 5. My heart started racing when I saw this. But as I read it, I got more and more less panicked because of those people that are putting the emphasis on this supposed catastrophe going on. So let's just read this. We'll dig into it a bit, and then I could tell you what I do normally to prepare for stuff like this. And another, so before I forget, let me go to this other website, this other video that I watched, that I want you guys to watch too as well. Alright, click on history. No, I did not watch that. What's some of that? History. Okay, there we go. Alright. One of the world's largest banks says the planet is running out of resources. Now, key word here, bank. I could care less if all the banks close and collapse, stock markets, UN, Federal Reserve, IRS, shut it all down. I could care less. Because the people are going to panic that are related to this are those that are in the elites, the upper wealthy class, that are destroying this planet and our way of life anyway. So I have no sympathy or mercy for them. Pray for them, love them as a brother and sister in Christ, but listen, you're destroying this planet in the eyes of those that are, as you would say, beneath you. So let's read on. It's running out of resource and warns that neither governments nor companies are prepared for climate change. The world spent its entire... This sounds to me right off the bat, it sounds like the left panicking. It's the left liberals panicking. You know, they shut down, they try to censor the main media sources, which is Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. There's no longer the television set of the alphabet gangs, the alphabet broadcasters. They tried doing that, it failed. And now they tried Alex Jones, shutting him down on all three at once. Major coup failure, because it's just from those ashes is going to rise a stronger platform and a better direction controlled privately for information, which is going to happen. I'm sure it's already in the works. You'll see. You'll see. Don't panic over that. That's nothing. The world spent its entire natural resource budget for the year by August 1st. All right, so keep that in mind. Natural resource budget. Okay, so we have resources in this planet we tap into. This has been going on for a while, where people or corporations, banks, etc., have a system in place where they gauge the quantity of resources that we use up, and they put it in a yearly fashion. That's another problem too as well. A timeline. When people start putting things on a timeline, first of all, it's not biblical. Second of all, it has a impact that's more panic, emotion driven, other than logically driven. And also, you got to understand, resources are not being disclosed. They're being hidden. They're being taken away. They're not. The primary water is a prime example. Primary water, research that on YouTube, that surrounds the entire under layers of the earth, crust layers. I don't know how deep it is, mantle, whatever it is, which a lot of people speculate, which is where the flood came from too as well, from when God flooded the earth, is an untapped resource and an undisclosed resource, and denied, if anything. The whole entire planet can live indefinitely with this water resource underneath it. I don't care if there's 20 billion, a trillion people on the planet. There's enough water there. So that's a lie. Free energy, Tesla, cars that run on water, etc., etc., etc. We're being poisoned, if anything, and depopulated with less testosterone and less lower immune systems, as I'm coughing, with, you know, GMOs, chemtrails, fluoride in the water, etc., etc. So now these elites are coming out now and crying wolf, as far as I could see so far, and reading into this. So let's begin. Let's keep going. That's what it says. By August 1st, yeah, the resources have been used up already this year. A group of analysts at HSBC said, a note that cited research from the Global Footprint Network, that's the name of it, right, GFN, that means that the world's citizens, interesting that wording too again, like they're not part of the world, they're not part of society or civilization, they are above us, and that us citizens used up all the planet's resources for the year in just 7 months, according to this analysis. This is so biased, so agenda-driven, so elite propaganda. It's sickening. Let's carry on. This is just to save their own skin. That's all this is about so far. In our opinion, these findings and events show that many businesses and governments are not adequately prepared for climate impacts. How does one have to do with the other? I'm fathoming their point of view, that they're not prepared for climate impacts. That's like saying in the aftermath of Y2K, when everyone thought the world was going to end, that in the aftermath, looking back, that it was poorly perceived, or it was a hoax, or misunderstood, or that's like saying something that was automated, like the internet, or computers for that matter, took a lot of jobs away. But it also created a lot of jobs. So out of the chaos will come order, if you want to use that strong language of chaos, which I think is strong. And this is a slow process, folks. And you'll see that as I carry on further into this and show you that YouTube video I want you to watch. It's not an overnight catastrophic event. This has been going on since the 70s, that this has been getting monitored. Sure, we're growing. Well, stop restricting our resources then. Stop restricting water, or lying about the water. Stop restricting our energy, our free energy. We should be having crops growing anywhere on this planet. But they keep claiming eminent domain or some other sort of BLM land mass grab away from ranchers, which doesn't help, hoarding people into the cities, and then having federal claiming that land to be part of the government, which is illegal too as well, because the government is only supposed to own, according to the Constitution, I think it's 10 miles around Washington, D.C., the White House area. I think military bases and post offices. That's it. That's all they're supposed to own. Them claiming that they own this land is nothing but a mafia Gestapo takeover. That's it. Why there's not a civil war or the militia rising up against this is beyond me. I think that's part of what the Hammonds and the Bundys were doing. And thank God Trump got into office and just pardoned them. And now this fight has to start to get our land back and close down the BLM. It's another agency that's to be closed down. All right, carrying on. Not adequately prepared for climate impact. Nor are they using natural resources efficiently. Since when has society used natural resources efficiently, especially on a global scale? The HSBC analyst, I wonder who that is, said, guarantee it's a liberal, said in the note, many banks and asset managers have started factoring climate risks into their decision making. Yes, that should be a factor. That's climate. How about the sun's solar minimum? How about the chance of man-made risks, such as an EMP killing out all electricity? How about the sun, CME? How about a meteor striking? How about all those risk factors? Notice their timing of this. Trump's in office. Alex Jones just got censored off the internet social media sites. November Senate elections are coming up. Major critical point of this country right now. They're gearing up towards not only perhaps a distraction, or perhaps leverage to use to blame, to point the finger for the 2020 elections as well. Very suspect timing. So they started factoring climate risks into their decision making. 70 years later, let's decide to do it this way. A move spurred on listen to this. This decision-making move spurred in part by former New York Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Case closed. Liberal agenda. Right there. This guy hates freedom of speech. This parasite hates guns. The fact that people actually can defend themselves against the government rising up, tyranny, which he is all about. So this just blew this right out of the water. Anything this guy is associated with, anything to do with, he is a disease, a parasite upon this planet. Yeah, how about you assess that risk, the fact that the man is breathing hatred into this world. But I digress. Let's continue. But it's far less common to see multinational banks sound the alarm about climate change so explicitly in their equity research. The multinational banks, it didn't say simultaneously, but to calculate Earth's natural resource budget, GFN considers the demand for natural resources, which includes food, forests, and marine products. Notice I didn't say fresh water or electricity, as well as humans' effects on the environment from factors like carbon emissions. You know, I've said this on many videos. And I put in quotes, our footprint of carbon emissions, I don't care whether it's cars or factories or cows and humans farting, is insignificant. Insignificant. I compare this to one ant. Think of an ant, how tiny an ant is, and think of those big sequoia trees out in California forests. Those huge 200-300-foot trees. I compare this to the likelihood of our affecting Earth's climate as to the possibility of that one ant being able to chop down that tree. Never going to happen. Impossible. Not here long enough to have that impact. According to the Bible, we've been here about 7,000 years. And I don't think we're going to last another 6,000 or 7,000 years before Christ comes at this rate. So, say we've been here 10, 15,000 years at most, as compared to the billions of years, if not millions or billions of years, this planet, how old it is. And what models do these so-called experts, this analyst, HSBC analyst, have? What models does he have, or she have, to justify the past 50,000, 100,000 years? Besides core samples from the ice and under the sea, evaluating the parasites in there or molecules, whatever it is they're evaluating and looking at, carbon deposits. You want to hem and haw. You want to cry wolf about the volcanic eruptions that happen. Cry wolf about that. That has more of an impact. One volcanic eruption can have, I'd say, a 5,000 year impact. All right, granted, we're just industrialized in the past 150, 200 years. Coal, fuel, etc. But the size of that compared to this planet, the oceans, the atmosphere, the jet streams, the streams, the plankton that purifies things, that trees that give off the oxygen and absorb the pollutants, deforestation, that's a problem. Let's continue. As well as human effects on the environment, blah, blah, blah. The combined total is designed given a comprehensive picture of humanity's global footprint. Earth's overshoot day, the point in a year at which we use up a year's worth of resources, has been steadily moving forward in time since GFN's, which is the Global Footprint Network, first started tracking it in 1970. We overshot Earth's global budget only by 2 days in 1970. Overshoot day fell on December 29th, according to HSBC. That date has been pushed up almost 5 months since then. Yet we're still here. Yet we're still growing. How do you explain that? Since it's been pushed up and we've over... That's like saying typical United States here. The beast, the second beast in Revelation 13:11. The ones that can't budget balance our damn budget. for how many years now? How many decades now? And we expect you to believe that we're going over the budget? It's like you are crying wolf. It's like the kettle that called the cat black, or whatever it is. Because you can't even balance a budget. And now you're saying that we're not balancing our food, our resources, and we're going over that limit. What are the consequences? What happened? What happened since we went over that budget? Did people stop eating? Are they becoming more homeless? Are we growing less in ratio food production because of the oppression of technologies and water resources? This is so hypocritical. Really, really is hypocritical. You can't balance your budget, and now you're saying we can't balance our food and resources either. You're a parasite. Okay. Date's been pushed to almost 5 months. Note also warned about extreme events resulting from heat. Extreme events. What is that? What is extreme events? This is so fluffed. Including the wildfires in Scandinavia, and what about? See, this is really bad. See, this is where they're covering up their tracks here. Wildfires have been happening in California, Canada, Russia. I never heard of Scandinavia wildfires. Are man-made deployed energy weapons. Okay? How do you explain car rims melting from wood fire? How do you explain half of a football field burning down and just stopping out of nowhere? How do you explain a house burning down, half of it, and the other half not burning down? How do you explain a piece of furniture left untouched that's wood in a house that's totally turned to ash? Directed energy weapons, man-made forest fires. Again, a cover-up story. And broken temperatures records around the world. That goes hot and cold, folks. This isn't just about heat. There's been plenty on this website of cold events, extreme colds, record-breaking colds, cold anomalies. Now, currently, go back on this. I'm not sure. They don't have a history of this website, but keep watching it. There might be. I'll check that after this. As scientists, there's another problem, working on attribution analysis for specific events. Yeah, good luck with that. The general consensus is that climate change is making these events more likely to occur and more severe. Okay, one thing that I can agree on here, that events are getting more severe, more extreme. The more severe events, such as catastrophic events, whether it be tornadoes or earthquakes or volcanoes, etc., have become more severe over the past 50, 70 years or so. But to say that climate change is, first of all, it's a made-up word. That's like assault rifle. There's no such thing. Climate change is a Hollywood name, okay? It's a propaganda tool made to sell books and tax our air. That's all it is. The predicted effect of climate change are starting to become real. See, brainwashing, pushing this agenda, shoving this down the people's throats that aren't awake. Wildfires have torn through California recently, and they're part of a worsening trend related to rising global temperatures. Again, geoengineering through chemtrails, droughts caused by this. They're drying up areas, setting these fires, and now this is their big end game. This is their big ta-da final finale of panic. Okay? And it's nothing, like I said, nothing more than a distraction or for the upcoming elections, or panic towards the New World Order agenda to bring us all together. We have a world problem. We have to come together. Just like UN. Think about it. But when civilizations first started, Garden of Eden, then people started separating into communities, and then societies. and then geographic locations, and then by religion, and then by counties, and then by states, and then by countries, and then now all of a sudden they're trying to do the reverse of that and go back to what God created in the first place. But it's too late for that because there's too much diversity, too many uncommon denominators. Oh my God, it's so obvious to me. I hope you guys are really seeing this picture here. And they relate that they're scientists, they're positives. I see a lot of bad keywords here. That is one. Related. Scientists is another. That's two. Michael Bloomberg, 3. HSBC being a bank, 4. Too many keywords here that tell me this is all just an agenda. Reading on. Other consequences include increased frequency of hurricanes and flooding, melting ice sheets, and greater number of heat waves. Recent studies, whose studies, have shown that global temperatures by the year 2100 could raise up to 15% higher than the most highest projections from Intergovernmental Panel on Climate. Oh, man. A panel, right? Extreme events, severe social. There you go. You know, here's the closing. Here's the closing. What we're doing. Social costs. In our view, adaptation will move further up the agenda and will growing focus on the social consequences. Here's another math problem. Go back to wrecking our budget, our debt. You know, at first I was upset about this. I was panicked a bit. And now as I'm going over it more slowly with you guys here, I'm not so panicked about it. But it does not mean that something isn't going to come out of this. Because you're talking banks, you're talking governments. They're pushing the panic button right now. They just pushed the panic button. Just now. Just this 10 hours ago, the panic button got pushed. What are you going to do about it now to react to this? How are you going to react to this? And I hope this video goes viral because it needs to reach millions of people. Do your best you can to make this go viral, to spread this around, and you'll see why in a minute. Let's start off with this. Well, I'm done with this here, but let's start off with this 15% thing here. That's extremely inaccurate, extremely high. 15%? By 2100? We're in 2018 right now. That's not very far off. First, let's debunk a little bit of this. Melting ice sheets. That's only the top part. You ever hear this saying, it's just the tip of the iceberg? This is what they're evaluating this on. But yet, it's not being disclosed that the underneath, where the mass of the ice is, not exposed, is growing unfathomably large. So just because we don't see it, out of sight, out of mind. Greater number of heat waves. There's been heat waves since the beginning of time till the end of time. Is it increasing? Perhaps with solar minimums, or maximums, I mean. We're coming upon a solar minimum right now. The next 2 years, we're going to be in a solar minimum. Which means less sunspots, which means the probability of greater changes, extremes from one end to the other, hot or cold. But what could catalyst that is a volcano going off, or 2 or 3, like has been going off, which creates this carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, which creates a reflection of the sun, which creates cold. Hence, mini ice age. Hurricanes and floods. Yes, that seems to be more, but I lay that back at the feet of geoengineering, chemtrails, modifying weather. too much rain. Let's drought this area, then flood it with rain, and they'll get a flood. And this will give us our ability to stand upon their platform. So, what is it that their agenda hasn't been exposed? Think about it. Think about all the things that they are doing, these left liberal agendas, elite are doing, have done the past 30, 50 years to finally get their endgame results. This could be the nail that seals the coffin shut if you don't wake people up. You got to start red peopling, folks. Other consequences. All right, we're done with this. Okay, so this came from this resource here. I don't see any reason to keep your eye on it much longer if this is going to be the catalyst. Hisroe.hu, I call it. It's HISZ.RSOE.HU. I'll give it to you one more time. HISZ.RSOE.HU is the website. And just click on the alert map. Alright, I'm not going to get into anything else here. Oh no, one more thing I'm going to go over. What is this? Sri Lanka, Australia drought 11 hours ago. One more thing. Right down here, scroll down. I want you guys to keep an eye on the super volcanoes. When you see this big red and yellow area coming about. Count on the right-hand side here. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. On the right-hand side here, you have the dates of these here's the title, Super Volcano Monitoring System. Now, super volcanoes. You got volcanoes, you got super volcanoes. Super volcanoes are the biggest ones on the planet. They are the watchdogs, the controlmen, the gatekeepers of pressure on this planet. Depending upon how active they are, at unrest they are, the pressure will either increase or decrease at other locations, unlikely at their own location. So if they are releasing pressure at a normal rate, the planet will be less unstable. If they somehow are not releasing pressure due to unknown factors, that means pressure will be increased at other locations. About 3 months ago, I did a video. You guys could, if you want it, just contact me. I'll show it to you. And I did make mention of it in the past few videos that I did personally. I saw this pressure being increased because on the right-hand side here, and I take a 24-hour period. For the past 3 years, I've been doing this. In a 24-hour period, count the number of supervolcanoes that are at unrest. And they have been averaging between 7 and 8 of them. So either 7 supervolcanoes or 8 supervolcanoes around there have been at, no, not around there, exactly that, 7 or 8, have been at unrest, which is good, which is normal for pressure to be released and not travel elsewhere. So, go down to the date of today, bottom right-hand screen, August 9th, 2018. So, in a 24-hour period, I'm on the East Coast of the United States, and I measure this by around midday, which allows me to have a good median of time globally, especially with this website. I'm not sure what time they go by. It's not universal time, so it's a little bit harder because they're in the country of Hungary. So let's count these. So we're going to go 8889. August 9th is 1, 2, 3 for the 8th, 4, 5. That's bad because you're talking super volcanoes. So being 1 or 2 off is extremely dangerous. So the normal is 7 to 8. This is 5. So that's 2 off. 2 major pressure releasers off. Think of a pressure cooker. That pressure is building and building and building. Now, actually, the past couple of days, it's been 5. For the past month, 2.5 months before that, it was 4. Which is why, and I said in this video, pressure is going to escape somewhere else. And I forget the exact word I said. I don't know if it was negative or badly or eruption or explosion. But I said it's going to come out somewhere else. If you had asked me at that time where, and I had to guess, I would say Alaska. But it's Hawaii. And it's not stopping. Now, coincidentally, what happened the past week, since this was up to 5? Those flow of lava and those fissures have slowed down. Some of them even stopped. Dormant. It coincides. It's 100% accurate. Why no one is talking about this is beyond me. Dutch Sense isn't even getting it. So, why they don't have me on the shows, I don't know. I guess they're not watching the videos or no one's telling them about it. But they have to, this is 100% correlation, accuracy, guaranteed, scientific. Now, when this starts to increase to 6, you'll see Hawaii pretty much stop. But it's got to stay consistent. It's got to stay there for like at least a week, maybe 2, before it could clog up and freeze up. That pressure could come back to here. But if it goes back down to 4, Hawaii's going to act up again. Unless it's sealed up so tight, which I doubt at this point, probably going to have to be, quite a few weeks before that seal, like wax, like hardens, the lava, the magma hardens, and could go out somewhere else that's in a weak, the crust is weak or thin. Alright, done with that. I want you now all, with this information, to go to this video and watch this video. It's well worth something important. It's well worth to watch. Not Samuel Jackson. Love him. He's great. It's well worth to watch because it describes exactly what we might be on the cusp of here with a potential ice age. So check that out and take notes. What I want you to do is to make at least a half a page of notes, do some large fonts, and I want you to laminate it. And I want you to use this as a guideline for what they specifically talk about that happened during this last ice age that lasted for about 300 years, this mini ice age. Proven. And how societies fell, and how they rose, and how they sustained themselves. And this information is so vitally important. You're not going to find any more vital important about surviving an ice age. And I'm just going to go over some of the notes that I took already, watching about 3/4 of this and taking about half the notes that should be taken. So let me find my notes real quick and tell you what I wrote down. Ice Age, you're not going to be able to see this because of the way it's set up. Some crops that grow up off the ground. The higher they grow, the more they're going to be exposed to cold winds and cold temperatures. So, grow things that are more closer to the ground or under the ground, such as turnips and clover. And those that first started surviving this realized this, and they sold those crops to farmers that had livestock that ate this stuff, and they were able to barter and survive, or make money to buy other stuff. Watch the migration of animals, of fish, of birds that are not normal, and follow that migration. Why? Because that's a source of food. So if your food source in your area is getting scarcer and scarcer and scarcer, watch the animals. Same thing in survival. You see birds hovering over an area, or vultures. Guess what? There's food there. Go to it. Famine and plagues go hand in hand. So where there's starvation, plagues are soon to follow from diseases. Increase long-term food storage, canning, cellars, smoking food, meat and fish. Learn these things and start doing them. Symbiotic relationship between, figure it out. What is a symbiotic relationship that's going to have sustainability during these times? From watching this video, I came up with one that they mentioned one, but there are plenty of more. Food for livestock means more manure. Manure means more fertilizer for crops, which means more food. Get it? Symbiotic relationship. Aquaponics is a good idea for that too as well, with fish and rabbits and crops and aquaponics. It's all a symbiotic relationship. And like I said from the first one, grow crops under lower or underground, like carrots, yams, potatoes, garlic, ginseng, etc. Now, I made that note to myself before they even mentioned potatoes. It's going to blow your mind how a simple food like potato had such an impact on millions of people dying or surviving. Go watch this video. I implore you. You have to watch it. I'm going to download it and upload it onto my channel. Little Ice Age Big Chill documentary. It's about an hour and a half long. Watch it. You have to watch it. Take notes. All right, folks. That's it. I had to do this broadcast about this. Whether this is unfolding or it's a catalyst or just more agenda hype to try to sway people, I leave that up to you and your mind to decide what's happening there. So prep accordingly, pray accordingly. Most of all, pray. All right, folks, God bless you, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.